So, if you had to make a choice, Alan, and you had to choose between changing the minds of the people or changing the minds of the corporations and institutions, which would you choose between the two?
I wouldn't choose. I'd do both.
But if you had to choose,
If I had to choose, I would think change the people's attitudes is probably easier
yeah,
because the people can then change the big business.
the big corporations, they don't necessarily care about what we have to say because they're always going to be making a buck. But the moment that their so-called leadership changes and that the wider society starts to follow their lead, then I feel that maybe then there'll be more of a push to transition to renewables. You know, right now it feels like, you know, we can do what we want, but until actual institutions change what they're doing, I don't feel like those corporations have any reason to stop pumping out and getting their factory workers back in to mine more coal. At least this is me, but
I agree, but I mean, on the flip side of this, you know, as an activist, I think that's pretty much what the argument is too. Because as an activist, you're going out and you're protesting to potentially A, spread influence and awareness to people, or B, spread influence awareness to institutions.
yes.
So I think it's kind of like a weird scale to go on. You know, from a political spectrum, I feel like even the vegan movement and people, you know, go out there with the face, you know, with the anonymous mask and say, did you know that people are killing animals? You know, and like people look at them like they're fucking nuts. But the truth is, that's the reality that's happening, you know, and a lot of the reality is like, well, it's not affecting my life, so people just like covering
That's
it up,
the big
you know,
thing.
and
Yeah.
just going, you know what, it's not that big of an issue, you know. Like, I think the best way to kind of describe, you know, what's happening is just like, imagine like a huge office and there's like a tiny little fire that's happening in one of the bins. You know what I mean? And everyone's walking past going, oh, you know what? Somebody else is going to put it out. Somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else. This fucking fire is getting bigger, though. And by the time that anyone really pays attention, the fucking desk is on fire. And everyone's like, you know what? Hey, it's all right. It'll put itself out, bruv. You know? It's like, it will hit the sprinkler system, and the sprinkler system will put it out, right? And by sprinkler system, this is meant to mean like something like, oh, you know what? Hey, maybe climate will solve itself. You know, nature will do it itself, you know? And that's, I think, my conclusion on this whole thing is like, it's so hard to kind of sit there and go, oh, well, if we just be quiet, it continues to happen. But if we decide to do this activism stuff and we keep protesting and we keep creating massive disturbances, it's saying, hey, look at me, because we've been trying to get fucking attention.